Hello everyone and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. Today we will be continuing through more of the menu books. We'll probably get through another 3 today because this first one is very short. All we have to do is wash a car at GT Auto. That won't take much time at all. But just quickly before we get into it, I was planning on doing an F1 game video a couple of days ago now, but I've just had a variety of problems with it, and that should be ready to go in a few days if I'm able to get everything fixed up, but no promises given the way it's gone so far. But I'll explain more about that in that one. But that's why there's 2 Gran Turismo videos in a row, because I have been alternating between the 2 games, 1 video each so far. But anyway, let's just get into Gran Turismo 7 and wash a car. And the car we are going to wash is the very first car we got. I figured it was probably the one most in need of a wash, so that is what we're going to do. The Mazda Demio, we've used it a little bit, so it's probably got a little bit of dust on it by now. Well, we haven't really done any off-roading, but I'm sure we've run through the grass and gravel a few times by now, so yeah, worth taking this one to the car wash, and we will get it all nice and shiny. I believe GT Auto was missing entirely from Gran Turismo Sport, and in Gran Turismo 6 it was there and functional, but there were no animations like there were in previous games. Of course, pretty much all throughout Gran Turismo games, the car wash would always spin the car around 100 miles an hour very, very quickly, and that's just how cars have been washed in Gran Turismo. I don't know where the logic in that is. Maybe it just flings all the dust into the atmosphere and off the car. But anyway, we will see, I suppose, in this game what the animations are. But yeah, let's just get into it. We meet Clayton. He's the guy that seems to be running the show here. But anyway, let's just wash the car. We can also do the oil change as well. I don't think that gives you extra horsepower in this game from what I've seen. But anyway, let's see. Well, at least there is an animation for it, unlike the previous one. Now our car is all nice and shiny. It may just be the, the placebo effect, but I actually feel like that does look shinier than it did before. But anyway, we washed the car again, just for good measure. I think at the time I don't know, I wasn't paying full attention to the animation, so I wanted to see it again. But anyway, there it is, shiny car. Let's just get out of here now. You can also do the body, restore the body rigidity and overhaul the engine as you could in Gran Turismo 6. Anyway, well done, you did what I asked you to do. Thank you, Luca, for telling me that I did the thing that you said that I should do. Anyway, from that we unlock the Tokyo Expressway track as well as the Tokyo Highway Parade Championship. So let's just have a look at that and see what we are getting ourselves into. Tokyo Highway Parade menu book number 9. Let's do this. But if we are going to be racing on the streets and highways of Tokyo, we can't just do that in a plain blue Mazda. That's a little bit boring. We are going to give it a livery, a very basic one, just to make things look a little bit more interesting. I actually got the colour of the Mazda 787B as the base for this car. That is what we ended out with in the end. As you can see, a bit of a spoiler on the back as well, and a few other little changes around about the car just to make things look a bit more interesting and look like a more modified car, I suppose. But to actually race in the Tokyo Highway Parade, we actually need a National B license, which I got in the previous episode. I'll leave a link in the description if I remember. Hopefully I will. And yeah, that will be down there. But you can see on screen now the final test in National B, and it was relatively easy to get through all of these. There were a few that were more difficult than others, but overall it wasn't too difficult to get gold in all of the tests, and that actually changed my plans a bit because from these tests I won the Mitsubishi GTO, and that is actually the car I'm going to be using for the Tokyo Highway Parade Championship. So the championship consists of 2 races, both at the Tokyo Expressway. Looks like the very high speed layout, no real sharp corners on this one, so that will make things rather interesting. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it and go to the countdown. And away we go then for the Tokyo Highway Parade, and let's see how quickly we can make our way through the field. This is actually the fastest car we've got at our disposal at the moment, so as we go for a little bit of a slide through the first corner and making a bit of contact with the car that started directly ahead of us, we are going to take a while to get used to this car and this track, of course, as well. But yeah, this is the best car we've got, so hopefully I imagine this may actually be fairly easy, given that this is the gold level reward for the license test. So this should be a fairly decent car, and it looks like that is true. Looks like we have a lot of horsepower, having a lot of straight line speed versus the cars around us in this race. We are fighting the cars at the back of the field, that has to be noted, but we're going to squeeze that way through the middle of those two, as they were doing a very good job of blocking the entire road. We forced a gap there, and now we contact with the inside wall as we made that move, but getting through the field at a steadily fast rate as we go for a big hit into the outside wall there. Managed to make the move stick though nonetheless. Now tucked in behind the Honda Integra, another hit with the outside wall. I got a bit lost there. Like I said, don't know this track particularly well, so that is why I wasn't quite sure where the track was meant to be going there. We go around the outside of the Integra, too quick though into the left-hander, and another hit with the outside wall. That's given us a bad exit onto the next straight, but with the power we have, that's not going to be too much of an issue. Again, going deep into I think that's the final corner of the lap, and now we begin lap number 2, the final lap. We've moved ourselves up into 4th with 3 cars left in front of us, so let's see if we can get past all of them and take the win here. Hopefully if we can win this race, then there's a lot less pressure heading into race 2, and we should be able to just hope for a decent result in that one. But it looks like we have a fairly OP car, to be honest, and we are not driving that well and making our way through the field quite quickly. So yeah, something to note: if you want this to be a little more challenging, do not use this car. But anyway, now heading into the second, or heading through the second lap, we've moved ourselves up into the lead now, so it should be nice and easy. We can just cruise home from here, and that is exactly what we do as we come across the line to take the race win here for the first round of the Tokyo Highway Parade. So moving on to round 2 then, the same circuit, just the reverse layout, so let's just get cracking with race 2. Bit of rain in the atmosphere this time, according to the who said that? I think Luca said that earlier on, that there'll be rain in this weekend. But anyway, as you can see, starting at the back once again, down in 12th position, and we have to make our way once again to the front of the grid, or front of the field, if we want to win this championship. Because it's only 2 races, a first and a second may actually only get you tied for the lead, so we really do actually need to win both races to guarantee that we win the championship. So there's nowhere to hide in this one, as we've already moved ourselves up into 10th position. We need to make sure we win this race as well to ensure that we win the championship. I don't know who it goes to, if you're on equal points. As I found out in the music rallies, if you match the time scores perfectly, that doesn't count as beating the time. You have to actually, be 1,000th of a second ahead of the required time in the music rallies to actually achieve, whatever level of trophy. So yeah, hopefully we don't finish second and we don't have to deal with that situation where we may not win despite being equal on points with the leader. But anyway, that's enough rambling on. We've got some racing to get on with, as we have already moved ourselves through the field up now into 6th position. So making steady progress. We are just over the halfway mark in terms of making our way through the field, and we're going to get 3 cars in one here. The Integra taking a couple of spots there, as well as there's a bit of a queue forming right there. The Integra moves himself into 4th position as we have a big whack into the wall there, but we managed to keep things going, and we can now try to chase down the leaders. We're on the final lap now, and the first 2 cars are a decent way ahead of us, so we're going to need to try and chase them down, as you can see them just making their way around the corner up the road, grazing the wall there as we are trying to push. But this car is a little bit weird to drive. The tyres aren't really good enough to match the speed of the car, is the sort of feedback I'm getting from it, and it's quite sort of skatey, which is you can see we're just drifting into some of the walls. Sometimes it's just plain understeer, so yeah, the tyres definitely could be a little bit better. But anyway, we're going to make it 3 wide as we try and go around the outside, bit of contact with the wall and one of the other cars there, but we get through and take the lead here, and that should see us take the win in the championship, assuming the rest of this lap goes smoothly. It's actually quite a different track in reverse. It took a little bit of getting used to, and you can see a big slide there as well, so definitely a little bit trickier, I'd say, this circuit in reverse, although I did start getting used to it a little bit in the normal direction. So of course when you flip any track around and do it in reverse, it's going to be a bit more of a challenge, because it's just not what you get used to doing. But anyway, that's enough rambling. We cross the line and win, and that will secure the victory for us in the Tokyo Highway Parade Championship. 2 wins from 2 races, fairly easily in the end, with how good this car is. But anyway, there are the race finish results. There is the trophy for winning that race, and there are the final standings of the championship. Like I said, very easy overall in this car. A bit too fast for this event, but of course don't know that going into it. Anyway, we have now 161,000 credits in the bank, so that is awesome. Slowly sort of accumulating those, and we also get a shiny new trophy to add to the cabinet for winning the championship, as well as 20,000 credits. That'll bring up our balance to 181,000, almost 182,000. We're only 30 credits off, but we get to choose another car to win, and we can't lose. We get a Silvia Q's, a Mazda Roadster, or a Toyota Corolla, so you can't really lose. They're all really cool cars that I really want in this game at some point. We are going to go for the one on the right. Let's see what we are lucky enough to get. The MX-5 Roadster, as I would call it, or the Unos. I don't know how that word is pronounced, but anyway, it's a Roadster, and it is an awesome little car. So glad that we got that one, and let's just move on and finish things off for menu book number 9. Ooh, pop-up headlights and everything. Awesome. That is only worth 35 car collector points. I guess that's $35,000, so actually that is quite a lot. We level that up, and that unlocks the racing section of the tuning shop, so that is cool as well. That is more different modifications we can now make thanks to this car. So now back to the cafe with Luca. You emerged victorious at the Tokyo Highway Parade. Magnificent work. Okay, I don't know what that accent was. That was very strange. The things my head comes up with. Anyway, sport mode is now unlocked as well as multiplayer. We also got a roulette ticket and the next menu book, of course, which is Japanese FR sports cars. So let's check that one out. We are going to need to unlock 2 more cars for the next collection. The Toyota Corolla and the Silvia Qs that we missed out on last time. Nissan Silvia, just to clarify that. But yeah, we've already got the Mazda MX-5. It does kind of make those random prizes a little bit pointless because you end up with all 3 cars anyway. But I suppose at the end of the day it does make things a little bit different for different people depending on which car you win. So I suppose there's that. But anyway, let's just get into it. But first we will use that roulette ticket and see what we can earn this time. We have the opportunity of winning a car once again, money, or never mind, we get the couple of coins that someone just found behind the refrigerator, 2,000 credits, and another disappointing roulette ticket. And just on a side note, because this happened to come up between clips, I finally installed the anniversary edition, which I pre-ordered. Because of that, I got a bunch of cars just sort of midway through playing. This is the Mazda RX Vision GT3 concept stealth model, which looks very cool. I also got the Toyota Supra GT500 from 1997, very famous car from Gran Turismo history, as well as the Porsche 917 Living Legend. I don't know a lot about that car, to be honest. I'm not really a huge Porsche fan, but also there is the Toyota Area Specific Limited Edition Livery GR Yaris RZ High Performance from 2020. Got the Australia livery on that, of course, because that's where my area is, I guess. And that looks pretty awesome. I'm actually very happy with that one. You'll also notice my credit balance has increased massively, but I don't plan on spending those for anything useful, if that makes sense. My plan is I'll find a car that isn't actually going to help me very much, that's worth a lot of money, and I'll just spend the credits on that because I don't want to sort of ruin the natural flow of the game, if that makes sense. So there's that as well. But anyway, on with the next race. And the first race for this car will be the Japanese FR Challenge 450 at high speed ring, the reverse layout of the circuit. So let's see if we can make our way through the field here. Very basic track, high speed ring, so it shouldn't take us any time at all to get up to speed. I'm a little bit worried about the horsepower in this car. It is a fairly old MX-5, so I'm not quite sure it'll have the straight line speed to win here, given that the majority of the track in a car like this will be pretty much flat out. So we'll see how it goes, I guess, but at the moment we are doing okay. It depends, I guess, on the caliber of car that we are racing against, as the headlights pop up through the tunnel. Nice detail there as we slide up the inside and manage to move ourselves up and into 6th position. It is a 2-lap race, so not a lot of time to make our way through the field as we go for a slide there through the S-bend and now over the bridge and far away as we head towards the reprofiled turn 2 when you do the circuit in the normal direction. Harder braking zone here to what it was in previous games till we go around the outside of the Corolla there, and that moves us up and into 5th position at the moment, but not really making the progress that we need to right now. It'd be good if we can push ourselves through the field a little bit further by the end of this first lap, and we lost a position there, so definitely struggling for straight line speed as we get a nice bit of slipstream that's going to help us out, and we gain a position. So it's going to be all down to the corners as the windscreen wipers on briefly there, so potentially a bit of moisture in the air as well to add an extra element of challenge to this race, as you can see we are still under fire from the cars around us down the inside. they go as we are sliding on the outside line, trying to carry the speed, lose the back end, into the wall we go, and into the path of the cars that we're fighting. And that's a retry. And you may notice the car all of a sudden looks a bit different to what it did before. We've done a bunch of upgrades in between attempts, because after a few more failed attempts, it's pretty obvious that this car just isn't fast enough for me to win this race. So we're going again in a highly modified version of the car. The modifications, to be honest, a lot are visual. The different colour probably sets it apart more than anything. Also the massive roll cage and rear wing that you can see now charging our way through the field, and already making a lot more progress than we were up into 5th position. But be warned that this isn't as easy as it looks. This isn't going to be a piece of cake, because the cars at the front of the field are actually much faster than the cars at the back, as we will discover. But yes, we continue to move our way through the field, still in 5th position, but gaining ground on the group ahead. We're going to send it up the inside of the AE86, and that will be job done as we make our way through there. Good cornering speed out of this little Mazda. The straight line speed, not so much. We're roughly even with the competitors at the front of the field, but the cornering speed is the best on the track for sure. So we need to make the most of that on the second lap. End of the first lap, we're more or less now, and we've moved ourselves up into 3rd position, so making good progress. This is probably about where we need to be. We've got 2 cars left ahead of us, so let's try our best to make our way past them in the early parts of the lap, because after the well, there's only really 4 corners on this circuit that we need to worry about, and yeah, we need to make sure we make the most of those 4 corners. Round the outside we go through the first of them, and we'll see if we can make the move on maybe both of the 2 cars, and we will make the double overtake around the outside, and that moves us up into the lead as we now head into the tunnel for the final time. Now we just need to focus on getting the rest of the lap just right, and that will see us through to win this one. Shouldn't be too much threat from behind. We managed to catch up and pass them in just over a lap, so I don't think we need to worry about them too much as we make our way through the S-bend for the final time. Now across the bridge and towards the re-profiled corner from what is this in this direction? It's turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and is there really only 6 corners? I knew there wasn't many, but yeah, there's literally only 6 corners on this track. I just come to that realization now, and only 4 that really count for anything, because the first corner in normal direction, this last corner in this direction, is a bit of a nothing corner unless you're in a really fast car with not much downforce. Then it may be something, but anyway, that's enough of that, because we are coming towards the finish line, and we are going to win the Japanese FR Challenge 450 race at High Speed Ring. No, we're not. We're second. I did not notice that car coming up alongside us right at the end there, and they must have just snipped ahead of us at the last moment by 0.006. Nothing at all between us. See Undo there in the RX-7 just at the last moment got ahead of us. I had no idea that was coming. That took me by surprise. But yeah, that's a frustrating one. Here's a picture as we cross the line of just how close that finish was. So there you go. But yeah, I guess we did try that race again, of course, and on the second attempt we won much easier, and got the gold trophy in the bag. So now we head into the final race of the episode, and this one is at Sakuba Circuit, another race in the Japanese FR Challenge 450. Immediately we begin to gain ground on the field ahead as we enter and exit turn 1. A good track, Sakuba Circuit. I do always enjoy driving around this one. never really appears in the later events. I suppose globally it's probably not a massively well-known track the way Suzuka and Fuji are, and it probably doesn't see the same caliber of events just because it's a bit of a short track, probably a lower grade track as well in comparison. But anyway, we continue to push forwards and try to gain ground on the 7th place car, a Toyota 86. So let's see if we can get ahead of them as we sit in the slipstream along the back straight, probably the longest straight on the circuit, longer than the start-finish straight, and now we head towards turn 8 and we'll see if we can make a move here. We've got a bit of downforce on the car, so we can try and make moves around the outside, but it doesn't really work for us. We go for a switchback in the end and find our way through there. We've got us till 80 in this race, so that's nice. And the little AE86 there not going so well, bit slow in the straight line, but nonetheless we make the most of that as he was holding up the 2 other cars right there, and that's helped us move ourselves into 3rd position, closing in on the 2nd place car ahead as we bounce a bit wide off the curb there, and that's cost us some time. So you're going to need to drive pretty well around this track. It's not like high speed ring where you can get away with well, the track's so wide you can do just about whatever you want at a high speed ring. This one a bit more of a challenging circuit as we go for a dive up the inside, and we will skate through and take 2nd position, and that is a job done there. We've got a lap to try and close up to the leader, but you can see what I mean about the straight line speed of this car. It's not really any better than the cars we're fighting, so we need to make sure we get good corner exits to maximize what straight line speed we do have. Through the corners though, this car is very good, so that is where we can gain an advantage. So let's see if we can make a move maybe into turn 1. It'll be late, but we'll see if we can do it up the inside. We will get the car in, and we will make that move up into the lead, and we now cut on to the end of the race as we come across the line to win the 2nd Japanese FR Challenge 450 race, this one at Sakuba Circuit, and that gives us the 2nd, or the final car that we need to complete the collection. But before we do that, we get a 2-star roulette ticket from I think the daily workout thing. So let's see what we can win from this. Are we going to get a good car, good prize? A decent pile of money, I guess. It's not the smallest one, and this one is worth 10,000, so I'll take it. It's better than the last prize we got. And now back to the cafe. There it is, the Japanese FR sports cars complete. So there we have it. We have collected all 3 of those, and we can learn more about those in just a moment. First of all, we can collect our rewards from that. We get the Deep Forest Raceway, which is in Switzerland apparently. That's something new that I was not aware of. So there, that is pretty cool. But anyway, let's see what we can learn about these cars. These 3 Japanese sports car models are front-engined rear-wheel drive FR models produced between the 1980s and 1990s. We have the S13 model Silvia, the Unos Roadster, and of course the AE86 model Corolla 11, commonly referred to as the 86. These are nostalgic favourites of Japanese car enthusiasts. Nowadays, Japanese sports cars are popular around the world, but that story probably began back in the 1960s, with the famous greats like the Toyota 2000 GT, and Honda's first sports cars, the S-Series. Nissan's GTR brand was born during the 60s too. Well, I think that's just about going to do it for this one. It's been quite a long Gran Turismo video, so I think I'm just going to say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments, I would really appreciate it, and I will see you later.